Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Unplugged Woodworking's podcast. So, what did you think of last week's podcast? For those of you that listened, I had Chris Walker from I'm Not an Expert at This. He hijacked the show and he talked about his Japanese toolbox, which was pretty good. So, if you're listening, Chris, thank you very much. It was much appreciated. It was I'm sure for the listeners it was a bit of a change. So hopefully in the future me and Chris are going to do one together, which is going to be pretty cool. We'll have to see if the times match up and whatnot. So what have I been up to? I'm still making the dining table. I did eventually get my hands on some slabs. It wasn't the spalted beech that I wanted, or rather what the client wanted. So we went for oak. Originally the tabletop was going to be oak anyway, but we did try to get some spalted beech or something similar, but couldn't really do anything about that. So I've pretty much just been flattening these two slabs, and it's a lot of work. That might actually be a bit of an understatement. It is a lot of work. So so that's what today's podcast is going to be about. Basically, I'm just going to talk about the process I've took to basically make this tabletop, because obviously it was two slabs jointed, glued together. So I'm just going to go over a few things and just explain how I've done stuff. So as I've just said there, I started off with two slabs. These slabs were just over 2 inches. I can't remember the exact measurement, but they were just ever so slightly over 2 inches. There was bad cupping in them. I say bad cupping, it kind of wasn't bad cupping. It's, in my experience, what I tend to find when I get slabs of oak, I do always tend to get the cupping in them when they've come out the kiln. It's very common, and I see a lot of this. So even before I bought the slabs, I had in my head that I was going to end up with two slabs that were going to be cupped. So when I bought it, it was actually one big long slab, and obviously the slab got cut in half. I did actually struggle for the width at the time. I nearly didn't get it. I think I had like two options out of all the slabs that were there. Or otherwise I would have had to go a little bit thicker, which I really didn't want to do, because at this point in time with the two of them glued up, it's absolutely ridiculous the weight of it. I'm barely just able to pick it up now, and I have removed quite a lot of material. So as I said, I started with a 2, and basically, is what I've done. I ripped a straight line down one edge, and then basically got a rough measure across and ripped the other edge. So basically, I just took away the bark and stuff, a little bit extra. So I was down to solid material oak. Done that on both slabs. So when I started to flatten these, because as I said, they were cupped, the way I've done this is that I've done the hump section first, if you like. So that's the bit that's higher. So I have heard and I have seen people say that you should do the what's the word I'm looking for here? Would it be like a convex? Basically like a where the hump would be on the bench, and it'd be like a bit of a U shape, if you like. I'm exaggerating there, but you get what I'm talking about, yeah. So I've had people, or I've seen people say and heard people say you should do that first. So I didn't do that. I done the hump side first. Now the reason for this was, so basically it just sat on me bench. If I had to put the hump side down first, it would have just rocked about on me bench. I would have had to, wedge it, secure the wedges, and it was just too much of a faff on for me. So that's my logic of doing it that way. So is what I'd done. I put it down, obviously with the hump pointing up towards us. That was going to be worked on. So is what I've done. I've took the ruler from corner to corner and drew a straight line, and basically this just highlighted the hump. And I've done this at both sides. So going down on one of the slabs, it was pretty consistent. I didn't have any issues with any twist. On the first slab I'd done, there was twisting in it, so I couldn't really. I still done that, but obviously I ended up with a twist. But the second slab worked out quite well. So as I said, I drew the two straight lines across, and then I used me number 5 jack plane. I mean the number 5 jack plane, I pretty much used it like all the way through flattening these. So I did take the time and I dug out my cambered iron. So for anyone that doesn't know, this is just an iron and it's got like a bit of a camber on it, or a bit of an arch, if you like. It basically allows you to hog out a lot of material. You can still, to be honest with you, I don't often dig out the camber iron, or use it rather, because you can get away with just using just your regular iron. And I do normally do that, but with so much work to be done, I decided to dig it out. I got it razor sharp. I took my time. I got nice and sharp, and basically I started just hitting the middle section. So I was just working my way up and down the board, and just hitting the middle section. So when you're doing this, you've got to be really careful, because it is like really easy for you just to like kind of go all the way across the board, and basically just like take material off, but like keep the curve or keep the hump. It is really easy to do that. So like that's, you should be, if you're going to do this, you should like be mindful of this. So as I said, I've worked my way down, and I just keep on going and going and going. And I work my way down to these lines, either side. So every so often, I would get like maybe like about 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter off, because I was going 90 degrees across the grain, and then, as I said, every about 2 or 3 millimeters, and I would just start taking it with the grain, and I just kept on doing that. I mean, the way I was shown how to do it, or the way I've learned how to do it rather, is that you should go 90 degrees across the grain, then diagonally across the grain, and then with the grain. So with this, I didn't really do it. I went 90 degrees across the grain, and then I went with the grain. So it was a bit of a funny one for me, because I normally always go diagonally. So I just decided to miss the diagonal planing out this time, and it's, to be honest, it's the first time I've ever like missed it out, and it worked quite well, to be honest with you. So I'm thinking future slabs that I'm going to flatten, I'm going to try this method out a little bit more, and just kind of do away with the diagonal planing and see how I get on. This might have just been a bit of a fluke for me, but as I said, I'm going to trial this out in the near future, because I do have another slab to flatten. in the coming weeks for another customer. So I'll have to try this method out again. So yeah, I've basically, when I get myself down flat or near enough flat, then I just basically swap blades. So from the camber iron, I went to the just the regular iron that I would use. This is a hot iron, by the way. Me camber iron, that was just the original, or one of the original blades that you got with the plane. This could have come out with a number 4, or it could have come out with a number 5. I'm not too sure. Again, it could be a Stanley or it could be a record. It's going to be one of them. There's probably quite a good age to the iron because he is to the planes that I have got. So once I've swapped the irons over, I do still set it up for quite a coarse cut, and then basically I just start the process over again. And this kind of starts getting everything a little bit more flat. So for anyone that doesn't know, when you're using the camber iron, you'll get like a kind of a radius cut, if you like. And this is very noticeable, and you can feel it, because obviously, it's designed so you can like hog out a lot. You have like a really coarse setting on your plane. So when the flat iron's in, you do start to get things like a little bit more even, if you like. So again, start 90 degrees across the grain and then with the grain. So at this point when I'm doing this, it's always a good thing to sight down the slab itself and trust your eyes. If you're looking at it and something doesn't look right, it's not right. There's no magic here. Just as I said, trust your eyes. If it looks like there's a twist in it, there's probably going to be a twist in it. So you don't, something like this, you don't necessarily have to have winding sticks, although I will definitely say you do have to have something that's going to act as a pair of winding sticks. I don't actually own any winding sticks. I probably should, because it's, I don't do this on a regular basis, but I think this year I have had numerous slabs this year. I maybe had 5-6 slabs this year, so it would have been beneficial for me to have some winding sticks. It's a bit sad because I haven't took the time to make, to make some. To be honest, if I had the money, the spare cash, I would probably buy some. There's a guy on Instagram who I follow. I think he's from North Yorkshire, I believe. I could be wrong. Somewhere south of Newcastle, anyway. And he makes absolutely beautiful winding sticks. Liam, I want to say Liam Rigby. I want to say, I think I've got his name wrong, but you can actually buy his winding sticks from a Workshop Heaven. So if you're looking for winding sticks, check his winding sticks out on Workshop Heaven, and they are absolutely beautiful. But going back to what I'd done, I basically had two rails of oak, and I knew these to be square, so basically I planted these on, and you can see the twist. For anyone that hasn't used them, they are quite good, and they're basically there to exaggerate the twist, so as I said, it exaggerates twist. You can see it, and then you know where you have to take some off. So So yeah, I mean, on the first slab I'd done, there was twist. So obviously I did have to do a little bit extra on the first slab. The second slab, however, I basically got away, again, it might have been a bit of a fluke, like, but I didn't have to do any twist to take out of it. The two initial pencil lines, that I marked in and kind of worked from there, that worked out really well for me. So, as I said, with the first slab, I did have to take away a little bit of twist. So basically, that just involved us hitting two corners. The corner furthest away from us, that seemed to be, I had to take more off that one, where the corner closest to myself, it didn't seem to need too much. So yeah, a little bit extra work on that. I got that down. Once that was kind of down, I did pull the iron back in my number 5. Just started taking off some lighter shavings, and got it close. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was getting, at this point, it was getting pretty close. There was still steps in the office plane, and so it wasn't 100% perfect, but it was pretty close, and this was all I was after at this point. So when I got to this point, basically I just set up me. What did I use? Did I use my gauge? Yeah, I think I used my pencil gauge. Or did I? I might actually use my small combination square. Anyway, I penciled the line all the way around and basically just worked down to this line. This part's pretty easy because obviously you've done most of the hard work. You've got rid of the hump on the top, and you've got everything relatively like straight and flat. So and you've got a pencil line to work from then, so, and the pencil line goes all the way around, so that's, you've got like 4 faces, like 4 edges that you can work to, rather than just where I started off, I had like 2 edges. So, that's, for me, it's a lot better doing it that way. And again, it's just kind of the same process, just hit the two hit the 2 edges, because this time it was kind of obviously, because you've got like a U shape. Again, I'm exaggerating, but you've got like the cupping, and the cupping's pointing upwards, so your 2 edges are higher. So instead of hitting the middle, obviously you can't do that. You just hit the two. You hit the 2 outside edges first. As I said, same again. You're going across the grain, and then you go with the grain, and you just work down to your pencil line. So when I got down, I then squared the 2 edges. So one of the edges, that doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be great, if you like, because that's going to be the outside of the edge. As long as it looks, as long as it looks decent on the eye, and it's, it's not too bad, with a straight edge or whatever. You should be able to eye down, and you should be able to see these things. If there's any discrepancies or anything that jumps out at you, that's the point. It will jump out at you. Again, trust your eyes. If something doesn't look right, it's probably not right, and go and investigate, type of thing. So at this point, I've kind of, if you can imagine, I've got the 2 slabs, relatively, straight. So, and I've got the two edges squared as well. So is what I've done. I put the two slabs together on me 2 workbenches. I had the 2 Roman workbenches out, and I had them side by side, and I was basically just, turning them round, swapping them, and just to see what looked the best. Before I started like jointing. Obviously, I had the two edges of each slab like reasonable. But obviously, I was matching things. To see what looked the best. Once I was happy with this, I drew my triangle, my jointing triangle, and basically I just started jointing them. Now this was a bit of it wasn't a nightmare for us, but it took a lot longer than I expected. Because obviously the table was, or is, the tabletop is 1.7 meters long, and the longest straight edge I've got is 1 meter. So I can only check 1 meter at a time. So it's not ideal. Plus, I haven't got a jointing plane now. I always knock on about this, and basically I always say you don't need a jointing plane. I've managed for years with just a number 4 and a number 5, and I will stand by that. But this particular case, I'm not going to lie, it would have been very handy for us to have a jointing plane. I will admit that. It would have been really, I think it would have sped things up a little bit. But as I said, you can get away with it, and you can manage, and I did manage. So as I said, this was a bit of a chore for me. So when I started jointing them, I'm going backwards and forwards. I'm checking for square. I'm using my combination gauge. My combination square. I'm checking. I'm using my straight edge. I'm trying to get the thing as straight as possible. I've done that with the two slabs. With the edge, obviously the two edges that I'm jointing. And then basically, is what I had to end up doing was getting one slab and putting it on top of the other slab, where they're jointing. So obviously I've got two slabs, so I've got the final width, sticking up on my room workbench. And I just had to keep on presenting it like that, marking it with my pencil, where there was any discrepancies. It definitely would have been a lot better for us to have a longer straight edge, 100%. And as I said, a jointing plane wouldn't have went wrong on this particular build. But I think more importantly, just with the way our straightening edge, I think I could have managed quite well with just a straight edge. So I think possibly in the near future, it probably would be good for me to actually take the time and make some sort of a straight edge, maybe something around about, like a 2 meter straight edge perhaps. So that may be something I might look into. So, as I said, I was going backwards and forwards. When I was happy with everything, I done a pre-clamp up. Basically, had everything down flat and clamped the thing up. I think the first time, or maybe the first 3 times actually, I had to put the pieces back onto the Roman workbench, back into the pins, and basically just start taking some more off for the plane. As I said, I think it was about 2 or 3 times, till I was finally happy, and I was just going backwards and forwards and clamping it up. This was really time consuming because the slabs weigh an absolute ton weight. I'm not even sure what the tabletop weighs at the moment. Out of curiosity, just for myself, I am gonna wait. I'm gonna use me bathroom scales and put the thing on there, just out of curiosity, because it's absolutely breaking my back when I'm picking the thing up. So out of curiosity, I am gonna wait. So when I was happy with the with the joint line, with all the clamps on, like a dry fit, if you like. I basically just applied the glue and put the clamps on. Again, you've probably heard us say this, or I've wrote this somewhere. Fight with it. Fight as much as you can. Basically, is what I went for here was just the top, the actual table top, if you like. I made sure that was as straight as I could. There were still steps in it because there was obviously discrepancies in it. With all what's the word I'm looking for here? With praise to myself, I didn't actually do too bad of a job getting it straight. But there was a little step in the middle. Obviously there was a bit of a hump in the middle of one of them. But as I said, like I did fight with it. I basically got on top of the slabs. There was a little bit of flex. I was able to like flex it, with my own body weight. Got everything lined up as well as I could. As I said, the top, I got that half decent. As I said, there was a bit of a step in the middle. Underneath, however, there was a lot of discrepancy. I'm kind of not overly sure what happened there, but there was actually a little bit of quite a lot of discrepancy actually underneath. It wasn't too bad in the sense that I was actually anticipating this to happen. But as I said, I was more concerned about getting one edge. One side, if you like, which is the tabletop. So this is going to, when I say tabletop, I mean like the top of the tabletop, the side that's going to be visible and the side that's going to be used, on a day-to-day basis. So that's, that was pretty good. So basically when the glue had dried, I left it on the clamps on overnight. The following day, took the clamps off. I took the step out of the middle of the top section. Didn't take us too long at all. And then basically I set the plane at a very fine setting, not a very fine setting, but a finer setting than what I had been using, and basically just took my meter ruler across the width of it, I was just looking for high spots and low spots, and it's, if you're using a ruler, it is actually quite easy to see. Just make sure you've got daylight coming through. And it's quite easy to see where the high spots and the low spots are. And basically, I'm just slowly moving the ruler along the length of the table. Obviously, it's 90 degrees across the grain. And I'm just basically scribbling along with my pencil, and just highlighting for myself where the high spots are. And these were spotted about here and there, across the top of the table. So once I had all them, I was just basically taking the plane down, removing my pencil lines, and then just repeating this process. I repeated this process maybe about 3-4 times, and I felt that I had got it quite close. Put a really fine setting on, then was just removing beautiful shavings after that. Then I moved on to the scraper, and pretty much that was it. For the top, again, I flipped the tabletop over, and just removed the step. As I said, there was quite a bit of discrepancy on the underside. I do have to make the underside half decent, and I did make it half decent simply because I'm putting battens on, and these are going to be sliding dovetails. Originally, I did do the I did like actually make a frame. The frame was like pretty much made, but I wasn't happy with the frame. There was a few design issues that I wasn't happy with, and I didn't really want to send this to do this and take any chances. To a customer. Basically, I want to make this table, and I want this table to be solid, and I want this table to last a lot of years. I want this table to basically be around when I'm not around. That's the whole thing. So basically, I have put buttons. Well, there will be. As of recording this, I actually did today. I have actually started making the buttons, and for anyone that's read the Anarchist's design book, it's pretty much going to be the work table. That's pretty much the design. Obviously, I will be tweaking it a little bit. It's only going to be very slight little tweaks, but again, I will be tweaking it. So that's basically the design that the table's going to end up as. So the underneath, that got, as I said, that got like, quite decently, flattened. Then that's just basically so I can, how the buttons in. So obviously I will be using my router plane, and that was one of the big reasons where, the underside does have to be reasonable, because, throughout history, whether it be tabletops or the inside of carcasses, it was quite common practice to leave them rough, with the combat iron marks and the plane marks in, because nobody kind of sees it. But for this particular build, obviously, if I'm using the router plane, it's going to have to be half decent, because if it's full of lumps and bumps, obviously the router plane is going to follow these lumps and bumps, and it's going to be a total nightmare when I'm trying to fit the sliding dovetails. So as I said, it does need to be half reasonable. So once I'd done that, once I'd got that down, pretty much the same process. I did actually take the scraper down as well. That was quite what's the word I'm looking for here? Quite a harsh setting, if you like. I was taking quite a lot off. So once that was done, I actually trimmed it down to its final length. Now, I didn't really want to do this for the simple reason that it is actually easy to damage edges. Obviously, because the tabletop is, it's so heavy. When you're putting it down, it's so awkward to put the thing down gently. When I'm putting it down, it's literally slipping through me hands. And it's like it's thudding onto the ground. I'm probably exaggerating a little bit. It's not like fudding, but it's dropping harder than I want it, than I can control it, basically. Which basically means it's going to be more prone to damage. But the reason that I did cut it to final size was just to get some weight off the top, because it's so heavy. I think I got it was approximately 50 millimeters either side, of the tabletop. Like I say, that was just to get some material off to try and lighten it as much as possible. It didn't really make a great deal of difference. I think it was kind of probably a bit more psychological than anything, but that was the reason I did do that. So now I've got to be really mindful, that I try not to damage it too much. So that's probably the the last of the process of the the tabletop. That's kind of made. I haven't actually rounded any of the corners off. I'm going to have to actually speak to the clients, because I don't know if he wants the actual corners rounded off. Obviously, I know he wants all the edges rounded off, but I'm not sure if he wants the actual corner rounded off. So even if he does, I'm actually going to try and leave that till last. And then, if I do actually cause any damage, I should actually be able to plane it out, because I haven't touched any of the edges as of yet. Other than the initial, planing that I've done, what I spoke about earlier, to make it like square. So obviously going to be rounding these edges off. So I'm pretty sure by the time I come to do that, there'll probably be a few dings in it. So, it's probably just as well that I, leave it and I can plane them out. So all the way through this build, I haven't really mentioned the fact that if you are doing this, you need to keep your plane iron sharp. I bang on about this all the time, and you're probably sick of hearing us say this, but obviously keep your tools sharp. The plane irons, if you've got like, what might be a good idea, it depends. I'll be honest with you, I'm lazy and I don't really like to sharpen, but you've got to do it. So it might be an idea. Just say, for instance, if you're only intending to use your number 5 for this, you might have a number 4. So it might be more beneficial for you to sharpen the number 4 blade, the number 5 blade, and a cambered blade all at the same time. I'll be honest with you, with the when I was initially doing the hump section, I actually did sharpen the cambered iron and the flat iron twice in the space of, I think it was like 4 hours, something like that. It depends what material you're using as well. I mean, sometimes it depends. Some oak's harder than other oak. This oak was killing dry, and it was really, really hard. It really took its toll on the edges. It's actually been quite a while since I've had this sort of hardness in oak. It was really, really hard. So, don't be surprised if you're planing for maybe on and off for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you find that it's like your plane doesn't seem to be working properly. It's probably because you need to sharpen it again. I was actually surprised at how hard this oak was, to be honest with you. But yeah, as I said, really, really don't shy away from sharpening your tools, especially in something like in a case like this. It's just gonna it's just gonna make things awkward for you. It's gonna make things harder for you. It's really, really hard work. I don't care what anybody says, until somebody's flattened, 2 slabs to make up a slab. For anybody that's interested as well, the finished size of this tabletop is 900mm by 1.7 meters or 1700 millimeters. That's quite a it's quite a bit of a chunk of a tabletop. It's quite wide. For me it is anyway. And obviously I think the final thickness, it kind of went, what did I get it down to? I think it's about 43, 45-ish. I can't quite remember. I think it might have been about 43. And the hump that I took off each slab, that I think that was like around 8 or 9 millimeters, somewhere around there, that size. Just to give you a bit of an idea. And until anybody that says it's easy, until anybody that does something this size, I'm pretty sure if they do something, they'll change their mind. It is extremely hard work. I'm no stranger to hard work, and I will say this is hard work. If you look at those guys, back maybe like 100 years, 200 years ago, that used to do this day in and day out, man, those guys must have been strong as oxes. They really must have been, they must have been quite fit chaps as well. Because as I said, it's pretty hard work. So I think that's pretty much covered for today. And again, if you want to have a look at some of these pictures, what I'm talking about, there's like I do pictures every couple of days or whatever on Instagram and Facebook. Occasionally I do YouTube videos. So if you want to check any of this out, there'll be links in the description. If you'd like to support the show, there will be links to do so. It would be much appreciated if you could. And until the next time, guys, I shall speak to you later.